But here's a story that I just found weirdly not unusual. A pastor, the pastor of one of the megachurches in Texas, has resigned after a woman came forward and said he had sexually abused her on multiple occasions, beginning when she was 12 years old. Now, this guy is, or was, the Antichrist, Donald Trump's spiritual advisor. Of course. His name is Robert Morris. He is the church's senior pastor and founder. And as so many of these Christian hustlers are capable of doing with their message of bullshit, he built his church, so-called, into a weekly membership of over 10,000 people. It's called Gateway Church. And the Board of Elders of Gateway Board of Elders, oh my God, said in a statement yesterday that they had accepted the resignation of the church's senior pastor and founder. The board said it had hired a law firm to conduct an independent review of the woman's charges to make sure that they, the Board of Elders, quote, have a complete understanding of the events that occurred from 1982 to 1987. Now, I would be willing to wager, I don't know, maybe a cup of River Moon coffee anyway, that more women will come forward now. Now, the allegations I'm talking about came to light last Friday on one of the religion watchdog blogs called the Wartburg Watch. And a woman named Cindy Clemisher is the one who has accused Morriser. She told the Dallas Morning News in an interview last Saturday that she met the Reverend Morris in 1981 when he was a traveling preacher. And he began preaching at her family's church in Oklahoma. She said that Mr. Morris and his wife and young son became close to her family. And she added that this rapist was staying in her house in 1982 when he asked her to come to his room. He told her to lay on his bed, and then he began, well, this is according to Miss Clemisher, who is now 54. She said the abuse, the sexual violations continued for about the next 4.5 years. Now, typically, the Associated Press, most publications, and your humble and obedient servant here, typically we don't mention the names of people who say they've been sexually assaulted unless they come forward publicly. Well, Ms. Clemisher has done that, so that's why I'm mentioning her name. When asked about what he had done to this child, he was asked by the publication The Christian Post. This rapist son of a bitch, Morris, the preacher, said in a statement to the Christian Post that when he was in his early 20s, he was, quote, involved in inappropriate sexual behavior with a young lady in a home where I was staying. It was kissing and petting, but not intercourse. But it was wrong. This behavior happened on several occasions over the next few years. End quote. Oh, you rancid prick, you. 12-year-old kid. Now, if you tell Mommy and Daddy are going to burn in hell, do you want that to happen? No. Okay. Now, shut up and let the Reverend here slip your panties off. Now, be quiet. Okay. The Board of Elders said that before Friday, when this bastard resigned, quote, we did not have all the facts of the inappropriate relationship between Morris and the victim, including her age at the time and the length of the abuse, end quote. They said, the Board of Elders said, that their understanding was there was a, quote, extramarital relationship, end quote. That, Pastor Morris had discussed many times throughout his ministry. But none of it had to do with the sexual violation of a 12-year-old child. Well, no surprise there that this evil Christian prick didn't mention it. Huh? Now, the church from which this bastard resigned is based in the Dallas suburb of Southlake. And it was put together. I mean, he started working his religion scam, his Christer scam, his you're going to burn in hell forever scam unless you do what I tell you. He started it in the year 2000, and he has multiple locations in the area. And over 100,000 people attend each weekend. 100,000 suckers who go listen to a child rapist tell them how to behave. This is like Donald Trump telling potential voters in this country how this democracy, this republic should be run. When the fuck is this stuff going to stop? He said plaintively. 100,000 people attend this child rapist scam operation every single weekend. Now, the guy accused of all this shit, Robert Morris, has been very politically active too. They usually become that, don't they? Huh? Render unto God that which is God's, unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. No, they don't believe, but screw all that. Once they have 100,000 people who are willing to come in and give them money every weekend and listen to their bullshit every weekend, and they have political power then, so they might as well use it. But this bastard was among those on Trump's evangelical advisory board. Shit. He was one of Trump's spiritual advisors. Well, in a way, that certainly makes sense. You know, sexually abusing a woman, even a 12-year-old woman, or a 25-year-old woman. It matters not to these son of a bitches. They don't care. Especially these church bastards. And they have such perfect protection. Why? I'm the minister. I'm your direct link to Jesus fucking Christ. I'm your perfect link to Donald Jesus Trump. What these people have done to what started, in my humble opinion, as a fairly simple philosophical idea. Do unto others the way you would have them do unto you. And of course, it got twisted and violated and beat to shit by the early Jews who put together this apostate branch of Judaism that we call Christianity. And those early so-called Christians even had to steal from Judaism in order to find their Messiah. All right, let's take that Jesus guy. Yeah, okay. So sickening. Anyway, Mr. Morris's church hosted Trump on the Dallas campus of this Center for Bullshit in 2020, and he was there for a discussion on race relations and the economy. Trump? Oh, my God. Well, of course, Trump, because, you know, it worked both for Trump so he could con more of these Christian morons into voting for him, and it worked for this rapist Morris because he could con more political attention from Trump into his congregation. It worked both ways. Religion and politics. The king and the priest. Again, please allow me. Man will never be free until the last king is strangled with the entrails of the last priest. 18th century Diderot. That has stuck in my brain ever. That what he said, that admonition, whatever you want to call it, from Diderot, ever since I've read it. And I'm not that familiar with the Diderot's writings, a little bit, but I can't get that out of my head. It makes such perfect sense. If freedom is what people are looking for, oh, and aren't we all, then yes, the last king, dictator, asinine, arrogant leader, and the last priest, pope, chief rabbi, whatever you want to call it, chief imam, all of them should be disappeared, done away with. They serve no function other than oppression. That's it. So this little bit about Robert Morris, who has 100,000 people under his control, and it is control, at this den of iniquity, borrowing from probably the book he quotes from every year, this den of iniquity in the suburb of Dallas, 100,000 people attend his satellite den, or his main den, and his satellite dens every weekend. 100,000 people. And what they're getting out of it is a sense of they have no power, no control. They'll turn it over to God. You know what they say in AA? Let go and let God. Oh, right. That's the reason AA has such a wonderful success rate, right?
Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.